was great. Let's move on.
Good job, Mark.
Thanks, Don.
Making movies is a fascinating business, and what looks simple on the screen is actually the result of thousands of hours of effort on the part of hundreds of people. Just take a look at the credits at the end of any movie you watch. For over 50 years, Old Tucson Studio has been an important part of the magic of movie making. And at one time or another, almost every major star has walked these historic streets. I've even made a few films here myself. Old Tucson was built in 1939 for the film Arizona, starring Gene Arthur and a screen newcomer named William Holden. With an unheard-of budget of $1.5 million, Arizona's producers fled Hollywood's back lots in search of an authentic Western location, and Tucson's Abra Valley filled the bill perfectly. The location still features unspoiled views in almost every direction, attracting filmmakers from all over the world, as well as nearly 500,000 visitors a year. The movie location opened to the public in 1959 and is now the largest tourist attraction in Arizona. Over 20 live shows are performed at Old Tucson daily, including the most authentic gunfight reenactments anywhere. Old Tucson's professional stuntmen get everyone into the act.
You walk in, okay? You have all the background people are going to be scared the heck out of you. Okay? You're going to walk in, you're going to spot that lone figure of JR standing there. You're going to confront him. Okay? We have cue cards for you too, so don't worry about it. Background people, I want a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of fear. Okay? Can you do that? Let's hear a little screaming and fear right now for me. I like it. All right, that's great. Roll tape.
Scene 2, mayhem, take 1.
Very good, very good. Good job, Slade. And action. Big round of applause for J.R. and Concho, double coming stars.
In Silver Lake Park, visitors can enjoy a variety of family activities. For first-time guests, the C.P. Huntington Railroad provides visitors with a good overview of the studio, many of the attractions, and an introduction to Old Tucson's rich history. All around the studio, you'll find some of the most unique souvenirs and authentic Western mementos anywhere. And if all this activity makes you hungry, Old Tucson serves up some of the finest barbecue you'll find in the territory. And in the finest Old West tradition, you can top off a tasty meal with a cold, frosty one. Although there's something here for everyone, the heart of Old Tucson Studios is still movie making. And many of these sets, constructed in 1939 for the film Arizona, are still in use today. These original sets were designed and built using actual photographs and blueprints from Tucson City Archives. The Arizona set was constructed using authentic period construction techniques and materials, and is actually an accurate recreation of 1860s Tucson. In addition to being a monument to the history of filmmaking, these old buildings allow visitors a glimpse into life of the western frontier in the 1800s. A walk down Front Street is literally a stroll through Western movie history. Expanded for the John Ford Western Rio Bravo, starring John Wayne, Front Street, at one time or another, has felt the footsteps of almost all of movie and television greats. In more recent times, Front Street has been home to movies like The Three Amigos, starring Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short, and Young Guns 2, starring Emilio Estevez, Kiefer Sutherland, and Lou Diamond Phillips. The TV series Young Riders was filmed here also. Right around the corner here is Kansas Street, originally built to cover the wall of Old Tucson Soundstage. You might recognize it as Mankato, Minnesota, Mike Landon's hometown and Little House on the Prairie. Or you might remember it as the town of Jackson, another Mike Landon show, Father Murphy. Mike first came to Old Tucson to work on Bonanza. He fell in love with the area and returned many times with his own productions. Mike didn't only bring his Western projects down here, he also used Old Tucson as the background for a number of Highway to Heaven episodes. Old Tucson is a time capsule of film and television production. Visitors come from all over the world to walk through famous sets like this one, the Ranch set, home of one of the most popular television westerns of all time, the High Chaparral. And this set you may recognize from John Wayne's famous movie, Rio Lobo. The Duke figures prominently in the history of Old Tucson. He not only filmed a number of films here, but he was also one of the original partners in the studio. Now, Bob Shelton, the founder of Old Tucson, has some fond memories of the Duke.
Well, one of my favorite stories about John Wayne deals with the time we were making a film here called Rio Lobo. Howard Hawks was directing. Duke was starring, of course. Duke had been nominated for an Oscar for his portrayal of True Grit. So he flew back to attend the academies that night, and sure enough, he won it, as you know, and turned right around, came back the next day, and was on the set, on his way to the set by 7 o'clock in the morning. What had happened in the meantime, we had all ran out and got into every medical supply place we could get to find eye patches, and we made some, and the Grips made a great big 20-foot high gold Oscar that we stood over on the set where he drove it. So he drove over on the east side of the town of Old Tucson and got out of the car, and as he later said, nobody was looking at him. Nobody waved at him or said hi or anything. And when he got out of the car and walked toward the set, then everybody in the set turned around, about 200 of us, and we all had eye patches on. And it really broke him up, and he got a little tear in his eye over that, and really broke up when he found out we had bought an eye patch for his horse.
This old beauty is the Reno. Built in 1872, the Reno is the oldest functioning locomotive in the world. In 1970, the Reno was purchased from MGM and transported to Old Tucson. Since that time, she's been featured in dozens of films and television shows. As you probably know, a lot of movie action takes place on set. In fact, many times you'll see an actor walk into a doorway, just like this, and onto an interior set like this one, built on Old Tucson's enormous soundstage. Now, this permanent set, Royal Oak Saloon, occupies only one corner of Old Tucson stage. It was originally built in 1966 for the movie Young Billy Young. Excuse me, boys. And since then, the Royal Oak has been home to some of the biggest bar brawls ever seen on the silver screen.
Watch it, mister.
Of course, that bottle was made of sugar glass, so it looks real. So it won't hurt the stunt guys or the actors. Of course, we also use breakaway furniture. There are literally thousands of tricks and special effects techniques that go into movie making. And sometimes, well, things can go a little haywire. This bank building was recently rigged by special effects technicians so the windows and doors would blow out during a bank robbery scene.
Best thing for everybody to do is to not be out here when the explosion happens. Be behind some trucks. Be inside the building, please.
If you just say Bruce,
Roll 3 cameras.
Howard.
A slight miscalculation, but nobody was hurt, and the building was quickly rebuilt. As they say in the biz, the show must go on. There's a lot of history to relive out here at Old Tucson Studios, but one of the best things about coming out here is that every day there's something new to see or do. Yes, sir. Old Tucson Studios is a must-see for anybody interested in movies, the Old West, or just some down-home family fun. So catch the New West at Old Tucson Studios. And who knows, you might just bump into somebody famous. Oh, hi, gang, yeah. Oh, hi, Anna, yes.